Welcome back to your hour. I have Mindi Cook with us right now, and Mindi Cook is a travel expert, and she's got lots to talk about today, and I'm trying to get my notes out of here inconspicuously,
Oh, just do it.
and it's not working.
Never does. Nothing inconspicuous ever works well.
So, say, it's a deep subject right now. We're hearing that it's getting better.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Everything is supposedly back to normal as a government run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Things have, number one, the government went back to work, so the TSA has gotten paid.
Mm-hmm.
The big dilemma is through the whole deal, about 500 people quit.
Yeah.
And so now there's a shortage
Mm-hmm.
of TSA workers. So do you still have backlogs? Yes. Are they as bad? No, because people are coming to work. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, it
makes you wonder if any of those 500 people would be inclined to come back.
You know, I think a job is better than no job.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and government has good benefits.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Situation. Yeah. And I know that TSA workers, they make about $55,000 a year. Mm-hmm. So depending on where they're at, in Wichita, that's a good job, you know. In New York City, probably not so much, you know. In LA, it's the poverty line, you know. So I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in the situation where I have to make that decision of, you know, do I go get a second job and not do this job so that I can get paid, so I can pay my rent and my house payment and my car payment, buy groceries, medicine, those kinds of things. So, yeah. But no, supposedly everything is back moving more normally as they can go. I would say Wichita is probably on course for what it is, you know. I'm always going to be the guy that or the girl that says go 2.5 hours early, go 2 hours early, even to Wichita. You can get through Wichita in 10, but I'd rather sit on the safe side, on the secure side of the security line than miss my flight because I got stuck behind somebody that, you know, there's so many issues. If your passports, if you have to have a passport that's valid for 6 months past the date of your return for a lot of overseas countries. And so those kinds of things will cause delays that you don't even know about. So, and you don't know, yours might be right, but the guy in front of you might not have. So what kind of delay is that going to cause? And it's just the trickle down effect, you know, how that goes.
Yeah.
So
take your chances.
Don't take your chances. Go early. Go early.
Okay.
That's the lesson today. Be early. I was at church. I got to tell you this. I was at church the other night, and we were practicing for our Easter program, and our drummer came in, and his dad's the worship minister, and he says, "Boy, you're early." And he says, "No, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're forgotten." So that's gonna be my new, probably gonna be forgotten. So anyway,
be early.
Be early. Doesn't hurt.
So, mainly, well, that was my main question, was the TSA, how early do you need to be? And 2.5 hours might seem excessive, but it really isn't.
It's really not. I mean, once you get checked in, get up to the gate, all of that, it goes pretty quick, you know, and you're going to board your flight depending on where you're going, where you're flying out of. You could board your flight an hour and 20 minutes early, especially if you're doing international from a large airport. So, yeah that's no.
So, what are some of the cool destinations right now?
The cool destinations. It's interesting that you say that because everybody thinks of hot destinations. So the cool destination like Jackson Hole, Wyoming, because it's cooler. You're in the mountains. Think of where it might be cold. So the Swiss Alps. Canada is a great place for travel for summer because the weather is cooler, more timid or
mild.
That word. Thank you. and beautiful. Canada is gorgeous. One of my favorite trips that we ever did was we started in Calgary and went on the Rocky Mountaineer, the luxury train across to Western Canada, over to Vancouver, and you only travel through the day, so you're experiencing all that scenery and beauty, and yet you're in hotels at night.
Yeah.
And so you've got the comfort of a hotel, but you've got the beauty and the luxury of the train and get to experience all of that. So that's a great way to vacation through the summer. You can, of course, you places in Europe that are nice and temperate and cool, and of course you can go to the beach too. But those cooler destinations have really become a popular thing for summer. Alaska. Always Alaska is beautiful in the summertime, and Alaska has a fairly short season, so probably from end of April to first part of September, mid-September is really your Alaska cruise season. So, and if you want to do an Alaska cruise, you need to be looking at next year because this year's pretty much sold out. So,
Because people plan ahead.
they do.
And you really need to. I think if you're a seasoned traveler, you know that you need to plan ahead. And I see a lot of people in my family that like to travel that are doing that. They book their trips about a year in advance. And sometimes things come up that you have to make a last minute change.
Sure.
And if you go through a travel agent, usually they can kind of circumvent any of the problems.
The other good thing about that is, as a professional, I'm going to tell you, if you're going to make an investment in travel, make an investment in travel insurance. Because if you don't know what tomorrow holds. And so somebody in the family could get sick or something could happen. You fall and get hurt, whatever. That is typically a covered reason for travel insurance. So you're not losing that investment that you put into the cost of the travel. So, travel insurance is always good. You were talking about booking early, and we'll talk about this more in the next segment, but I'm actually working on a Christmas river cruise right now for next year because the Christmas markets river cruises are sold out for this year.
Wow.
So we have space year's Christmas market cruise, and we'll talk about that in the next segment, but it's exciting. Christmas markets are one of my favorite things.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Christmas markets envelop all of your senses: sight, smell, taste, music. It's the Christmas.
Well, we'll talk more about that when we come back. We'll be back in about 2 minutes with a little more of your hour and a little more Mindy. So stick around.
I wish there was just a little that, or a little less.
Welcome back to your hour, travel edition. Mindi Cook is with us, and you were talking before the break. You were talking about river cruises.
Yes. Okay, so river cruises are always a hot topic. River cruising is the number one fastest growing segment in the travel industry for the last 7 or 8 years. So it's a great way. Oh, bless you.
I'm sorry.
Bless you. River cruising is a great way to experience Europe, and everybody thinks European river cruises. It's not just Europe. You have some companies that do river cruises here in the. You have the major companies that do the river cruises in Europe also do exotics. So Egypt, Asia, Africa, Colombia. So there's all sorts of different ways you can experience the river. I'm a huge river cruise fan. We do a lot of river cruise groups, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But river cruising is just a great way to experience it. The oceans take you to the destinations, and you travel with anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000 people. And the rivers
Of your best friends?
Of your best friends. Think about going on a cruise with the entire city of Augusta. No,
Yeah.
not so much. But the rivers take you to the destinations. So, I'm sorry, through the destinations.
Okay.
So when you're on the river, you live Port City Center, right at the city center. So you're off in a couple blocks. You're walking into Old Town Square, where everything happens. Your history, your food, everything.
Entertainment.
Absolutely. And it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, gorgeous. But you're also traveling with probably anywhere from 150 to 200 people on a vessel. So that's a huge difference just right there. You build relationships with the people on board. You build relationships with the crew, with the captain, with your cruise managers. One of the things I love, Alma Waterways is really, really good with this. They have got a cruise manager, and that cruise manager, so if you're doing like a pre-cruise, for instance, we're doing the cruise in October with Passageways, that fundraiser that we've talked about before. We will have a cruise manager that will meet us at the hotel, and they'll spend 2 days at the hotel with us in Budapest, and then from there we will transfer to the ship, and they'll be with us on the ship for 7 nights. Or they will transfer with us into Prague for the last 3 nights. So they are with us from the beginning to the very end. So they're the first person you meet when you get to the hotel and you check in for your pre-cruise, and they're the last person you see as you leave to go back home. Becomes like a personal concierge. If you want dinner reservations, if you want to know, hey, we want tickets to the Viennese orchestra, they'll help you arrange those. And I can help all that too, but there's stuff that you might find out about while you're in destination that they can help with. They are European based for your European river cruises, so they are well versed in the area that they travel. So that's really great. And as far as the Passageways trip goes, we're actually doing an event next Monday night. My friend Marcy New from Alma Waterways will actually be in town. She will be making a presentation about that specific sailing. So if people want to come meet Marcy, meet me, meet Jennifer from We'll be at Life Change Church at 6 p.m. Monday night, and that's at 10225 East Kellogg Drive. My number will be posted on the screen, I'm sure. They can call me and RSVP, ask me any questions. So we'd love for people to come and find out about that. But then we were talking about the Christmas markets. So I told you earlier, those are my favorite Christmas cruises, or my favorite cruise. And it's because the Christmas markets are like, think of the state fair. So where you go and you get the local food and the handmade candles and things like that, the things that you pick up at the fair. I think of the Christmas markets. Every town has a different Christmas market.
Sure.
Every village, every different cities. In Budapest, for instance, there's many different Christmas markets because it's just the different neighborhoods have Christmas markets. And so you have handmade gifts, local foods, and the locals where they meet their family and they do their shopping and they spend time together during the holidays. And it really is a very unique experience that they get to experience. And so for you United States citizens going over, you get to see how Christmas is done the European way. It's lit up like you can't imagine. If it will stand still for 5 minutes, they will hang Christmas lights on it. Everything is lit up. You hear music, you smell, and the Glühwein. So Glühwein is a mulled wine that they serve, and every different Christmas market has its own mug, so you can collect those mugs, and it's just a fun experience and a great time. And we have one of those for next year that we'd love to get you booked. Yeah. Give me a call. I can give you more information.
Well, Mindy, it's always fun having you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I enjoy being here with you.
And we'll be back with a little more Your Hour, so